Hello, everyone, to our session today of the citizens, by the citizens, for the citizens, where I will be talking about security risks in citizen developer environments and how enterprises could mitigate them. My name is Amichai Shulman. I'm co-founder and CTO of Nokod Security. Uh, I've been doing this for a few decades now. Previously CTO and co-founder of Imperva. Um, and well, I'll try to use the next 19 minutes to convince you that this is a real issue and that you need to come by our booth and learn some more. So let's talk about citizen developers, no-code development. Um, this is the way we used to think about software development in enterprises. So we have a bunch of software engineering professionals and they're writing code. And, and this is the way we created software for a while. But recently, we're seeing a shift towards other people who are professionals in their domain, but are not software engineers. And they are creating software that looks like the thing that you see on your left. And it does not have code. Yet, these are real applications. And by the way, they're growing in numbers very fast. Gartner predicts that by 2029, most of the new applications written in enterprises are going to use the no-code, low-code technology. So let's talk a little bit about the security of these new applications, the secure software development lifecycle when we look at these applications. Now, when we think of professional developers pushing their code to production with no testing, with no security controls, we say, that's their own thing to do. But when we think of those citizen developers clicking the save button in order to automatically deploy whatever they do to production, we say, yeah, that's the way to do that. Do we even know if these applications are vulnerable? Do we know if they are exposed to external input? No. Yet we allow that. What about data governance? Will we allow standard custom applications to be built without knowing which corporate data they're going to access and manipulate? No, of course not, because those professional developers, we cannot trust them with corporate data. But citizen developers, sure, go on, create the applications because you understand the data, you own the data, so you will probably be careful with it. But reality is that nobody really knows which data is being accessed and manipulated by these applications. And when it comes to actual data access restrictions, well, would you provide unlimited data access to a professional developer? Hell no. Would you let an AI agent have unlimited data to access to your data? Sure. This is why we created agents to begin with, right? And we really do not even ask what are the controls around those data assets. One of the reasons that we're not asking ourselves these questions, one of the reasons that we do not know these things is the huge gap that we have between the set of tools that exist with traditional coded software to protect the development process, starting with static code analysis, peer code review, dynamic code analysis, secure pipeline, and even runtime controls like web application firewalls, of which Imperva is the best. And look what we have when it comes to no-code platform citizen developer. Absolute nothing. Now, you could say, well, maybe it's because no-code applications have no vulnerabilities. It's all drag and drop. What could possibly go wrong? Well, here is how SQL injection looks like in a no-code environment. A very simple Power Automate flow that is accessing a database, and you can see that it is accessing the database using an SQL query and what seems to be unsanitized user input. Okay, you say. So it seems like there is an SQL injection vulnerability there. But really, can I turn this into an attack? Well, here's a quick demo. You can see now that there's a web form. By the way, it's open to everyone because it's a complaint form. And when someone submits a complaint, you will see that an email is automatically being sent to our customer success department so they can start handling it. And at the same time, a feedback email is being sent to the person who filed the complaint saying, hey, we've got your complaint. Here's your complaint history, and we're taking care of you. So now, going back to the vulnerability that I just showed you earlier, here comes a person, and he's inputting this thing into the name, abusing the SQL injection vulnerability that we've seen earlier, and suddenly the feedback email looks somewhat different. Hey, so now we have an application that is external facing, is accessing sensitive corporate data, and is vulnerable. Imagine that. Now, you're thinking, yeah, but you know what? These are all the applications. My citizen developers, they do agents now. Agents are great. Agents do not make mistakes. Let's see a quick demo. So we have a simple agent here that, again, is exposed to the internet. Why is it exposed to the internet? Because I want prospective customers to learn about my products. So I created a simple agent to help them with that. So let's see what happens now. So I go in and I ask a question about the product. And I get an answer. And then I ask another one, and suddenly I get a question about SQL tables. Now, a good person would type in products because he's interested in our products. But a bad person would come in and ask a question about our customers. And suddenly, that agent is leaking my customer data. Now you would say, that evil AI thing, they are all to blame. But no, this is the agent that I created. It's a very simple one, and it has a single topic to help with product questions. And it takes the input from the prompt, and it uses database access to the products table in order to give answers, which is okay so far. But then if you look at how I defined the database action activity, again, as part of agent development, it looks like that. And I've pointed out two mistakes that I've made. One of them is leaving the checkbox checked, which is the default, by the way. And it means that if the agent does not find a suitable topic from the prompt, it may try to directly access this action. And the second mistake means that I did not specify a name of a table, and that the name of the table can be provided by the agent. And combined together, these two common mistakes create a data leakage incident. So it's not the AI, it's the developer. Other examples that I could provide, and that's a classic one, we see tons of these. People creating automations around web forms, and they're actually creating a spam machine that allows anyone who fills up the form to send arbitrary emails with arbitrary content to anyone using the internal mailing system behind the form. This is going to create a reputation issue very fast. And you know, I could give another few real-world examples of what really happens when you don't know your citizen developer applications, when you're unable to track their vulnerabilities. And again, it starts with data leakage, either internally or externally. It starts with embedded secrets that could be disclosed. And really, it all stems from the basic problem that we do not have a process around these applications today. So what should I do? Okay, what's my advice to you on that? Well, three things. First, and we all know that, you need to gain visibility into the applications and automations that are created by your citizen developers. And you need to do that continuously, because they keep generating applications and they keep changing them. And with the customers and the organizations we're talking to these days, those that are like 5,000 employees and above, we are talking about thousands and tens of thousands of applications. We are talking about hundreds of changes to thousands of changes a week that you need to track. You cannot solve them alone. So you need to form efficient communication with those developers, making sure that they are the first to get information about their security issues, and you need to make sure that they get it in a way that is actionable for them. Telling someone from HR, hey, go fix SQL injection, that would not help you. Providing them step-by-step instructions on which action they need to fix, which field they need to fix, and what is the function that they need to use in order to remediate the issue, that would help them. And then, of course, you need to be able to prioritize your efforts and make sure that you scrutinize those applications that are part of your external attack surface and that access critical corporate data. Now, how are you going to do that? Who you're gonna call? Well, you call the Nokod Busters. We are at booth 6223, and I will love to continue this discussion with you in our booth, or if you have some more questions in the 2 minutes that I've got. Thank you.